It is time for this week's Good Question. One viewer wants to know about a very common sign that you see along Wisconsin roadways. Every year, more than 15,000 crashes happen in Wisconsin because of car-deer collisions.
There are preventative measures in place to warn drivers about the potential for deer in the area, but do they really do any good? News 3's Marc Lovicott joins us with this week's Good Question. Mark.
You see these signs all over the place. They're mainly in wooded areas where deer are known to live, and then in other areas as well where you don't see the signs at all, and there may be a wooded area. It got Barb here in Verona wondering how these signs are really placed. She asked, how is it determined where a deer crossing sign goes, and who determines it? Barb, that's a very good question. Our lives are full of signs. They tell us where to cross, when to stop, which way to go, and even where we are. They also warn us about what's ahead, whether it's a curve, the speed limit, even deer. You've no doubt seen the deer crossing signs. They're everywhere, but there's one problem.
The deer don't read signs, obviously.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Since we have that cleared up, how does the DOT know where to put these signs?
We were looking at crash records. We saw the number of crashes involving deer. And if it was above a certain number, we would consider that location for placement of deer warning signs.
We know these signs are meant to warn drivers that deer could be nearby, but there are some who suggest that these signs really don't make a difference at all.
One of the things is people habituate to signs, and what we found is that the speeds of the traffic of motorists don't really reduce when they come to these signs.
John Kennar from the DOT says although the idea behind these signs was good at first, how effective they are is now being questioned nationally. One of the problems, drivers ignoring them.
They see a sign and they pass it every day on the way to work or on the way home, and they begin to not pay attention to it. They begin to ignore the signs. You don't see the signs, and because in many cases you don't see the deer.
It's also hard to force deer to follow these signs. After all, they can't read them. So after years of trying to warn drivers, the DOT isn't doing it anymore, at least when it comes to deer.
When signs are worn out, or if there's a construction project, the signs are removed and no longer replaced.
So the signs are going away very soon. Wisconsin isn't alone here. Minnesota has also adopted a new policy which says they will not use the warning signs any longer, and they will not replace any signs that are worn out. Data shows that even with the signs in place, speeds or driving behavior, they just don't change. And again, drivers tend to see them all the time, and they just tend to forget about them, ignore them.
We're sure they can't read the signs.
We're pretty sure they can't read the signs, yeah.
There's a deer on the sign. You never know. No crosswalks or anything like that.
Right.
Marc Lovicott, our Good Question tonight, Mark. Thanks.
You bet.